I had been with my boyfriend, Jake, for 5 years. We had been through everything together, or so I thought. Lately, I had been thinking about marriage, so I decided to drop a few hints. One evening over dinner, I casually mentioned it. His response? Well, we've been together this long. Maybe when we have a kid, we can talk about it. It wasn't the proposal I had dreamed of, but it was something. At least he had marriage in mind. But my happiness was short-lived. A few weeks later, I sat across from Jake in my apartment, my heart pounding. I had something important to tell him. I placed the ultrasound photo on the table between us. Look at this. Jake picked up the image, his brow furrowing. What is this? I'm pregnant, I said, barely above a whisper. He stared at the picture for a moment before his expression changed. Is it mine? The question was a knife to my heart. Of course it is. We've been together for 5 years, Jake. Who else's would it be? He exhaled deeply and leaned back in his chair. Listen, I need to tell you something. I should have told you a long time ago. A pit formed in my stomach. What do you mean? I'm married, he admitted, his voice barely audible. I felt the blood drain from my face. What? I know I lied. I know I should have told you, but I really love you. I can't leave my wife and kid. I'm sorry. I'll pay for everything, but please, consider terminating the pregnancy. His words echoed in my ears. My world crumbled. I had spent 5 years of my life with this man, believing we had a future. And now, he was asking me to erase the one thing tying us together? Through my tears, I looked at him and shook my head. No. I'm having this baby. With or without you. Jake rubbed his face in frustration. You won't be able to do it alone. Watch me. After he left, I called my best friend, Lauren. The moment she heard my voice, she knew something was wrong. I'll be there in 10 minutes. When Lauren arrived, I told her everything. She was furious. That piece of trash. Don't do anything rash, okay? Let me handle something. And whatever you do, don't go to the hospital with him. I didn't ask what she meant. I trusted her. That night, I called my mom and told her everything. She told me to come home, that she and Dad would support me no matter what. The next morning, I packed a bag and took the next flight home. Days passed, then Jake called. Hey, we need to go to the hospital together. I'm not going with you. I told you, I'm keeping the baby. That's going to be a problem. I can't acknowledge the child, and I can't afford child support. I have my family to take care of. My grip tightened on the phone. You really are a piece of work. Don't you feel even a little ashamed? Look, I'm sorry. But he paused. Wait, my parents just called me. Did you talk to them? I smirked. I didn't. But someone did. Lauren had done something behind the scenes. She had gotten in touch with Jake's family. And from what I heard, his father was livid. Turns out, Jake wasn't the successful businessman he pretended to be. He was living off his parents' wealth, barely holding on to a job. Jake's voice cracked. Please, don't tell them everything. Too late, I said coldly. Your father knows. Your mother knows. Even your little sister knows. Jake's entire world was crumbling, just as mine had when he confessed the truth. 2 days later, there was a knock at my parents' door. My dad opened it to find Jake standing there in a suit, holding an expensive gift basket. He fell to his knees. Please. Let me make it right. I'll marry her. I'll take care of the baby. Just don't let my family cut me off. My father scoffed. You lied to my daughter for 5 years, tried to pressure her into an abortion, and now that your comfortable life is at risk, you suddenly want to do the right thing? Jake's father stepped forward. You embarrassed us, son. You need to grow up. His parents had finally seen him for what he was, a coward. His father dragged him away, leaving me standing in the doorway, watching the man I once loved break down in tears. In the end, I had my baby without him. His parents, out of guilt or obligation, offered me financial support. They even gave me ownership of a small rental property in my name, something Jake had assumed would be his inheritance. Jake. He was forced to get a real job under a strict boss who had no tolerance for his entitled attitude. Last I heard, he was struggling to keep up with actual responsibilities for the first time in his life. And me? I was happier than I had ever been. I had my baby, my family, and a new future ahead of me. Sometimes, betrayal leads to the greatest freedom. And that's the story for today. If you liked this, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more. Thanks for listening.